Yippee-yay!
Hi guys, and welcome to the New Vegas Mod Clinic, part 23. In this video, I'm going to be looking at a mod called XRE Cars, and this is a mod that simply adds cars to the New Vegas world. There are a number of different cars, but all of them are fully functioning drivable cars. You can drive them around the Mojave, you can drive them, you can race them, you can jump and even flip them. And it is a lot of fun. However, it can also be a little intimidating. Installation is not so difficult, but you have to do a few things to get the mod working correctly, and that is what I'm going to cover in this video. Installing and setting this mod up is a little more complicated than your standard mods, but it actually starts out pretty much the same way. You go along to the file section on Nexus and you download the files you need. Now at the time of making this video, the mod is at 0.86 and you're going to need both the 0.85 file and the 0.86 update. If you are using Nexus Mod Manager, download with Manager and get both of those files. Same for Mod Organizer. And if you're using Fallout Mod Manager, download manually and add them the way you would normally add these mods. Once the files are downloaded and set up in your Mod Manager, just activate the mod, the main file in this case. And as soon as that's finished, just activate the update as well. And when prompted, tell it you want to overwrite. Be warned, if you're using Nexus Mod Manager and you activate the update, you will get this little warning that a different version of the mod has been detected. Selecting no will install the mod normally. You want to install normally, so click no for that. And then yes to mod, we're going to overwrite the original mod. And that is it. The actual files are now in place. For load order, the mod author recommends leaving the xrecars.esp right at the bottom of your load order. The first time you load up your game after installing this mod, you're going to get a pop-up message, like so, that says before you can use the mod, it needs to make certain adjustments to the game's physics engine. This is important. Don't worry about it. I would recommend enabling and quitting immediately. You do have an option not to do it right now, but honestly, I would recommend, if you're installing this mod, simply load up the game and then enable and quit. And the game will pause and then close down automatically. You can then start up your game again. And so once more, I'm going to load the same save game, and this time I will get the following mod message, basically telling me that the mod has been installed and informing me that there is a car available in Goodsprings, available from Chet. Once you click OK to that, you also get another message telling you that the invisible wall remover has not been detected if you don't have that mod installed. The mod author recommends having that mod installed, although at the moment I am unsure as to why. I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave it up to you to decide whether or not you will use that mod. What that mod does is it removes invisible walls around certain inaccessible points like mountains, the edge of the map and so on. But having that mod installed can cause some other issues, and I'm not 100% sure why this mod is required. I played around with the car quite a bit and it seemed to work just fine. Perhaps there are areas that I will not be able to go to eventually, but you weren't supposed to get there in the game anyway. However, I'm not saying whether you should or should not follow this advice. I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave that up to you. I am going to tell the mod not to show me this message again, and then I'm going to run off to Chet's to buy the keys to the car. Now, if you find it a little hard to find, it may be because you've got something like Project Nevada installed or some sort of inventory sorter, and it is in fact a quest object. Quest object car key 55181. So it took me a few times to find it.
Take it easy now.
Then the car itself you can find up at the gas station in Goodsprings. So here we have our first car in the gas station, but before I get in, I must warn you of a small issue. When you first get in the car, you are going to receive a couple of prompts, and one of those is to tell you you're going to set up your dashboard. Now, the keys to manipulate the dashboard during that period are the arrow keys, the plus and the minus key, and the R key to reset. Now, the problem for me is I use the plus key on my number pad to open and close my Pip-Boy. This did in fact cause some problems. In fact, I'm going to show you the problems it caused. We first get in and it tells you can open the menu using the star key. I'll come back to that. It then tells you about the dashboard and you get the dashboard. You move the thing around, you might put it here and then shrink it a little bit, and then perhaps I shrunk it a little too much and I want to enlarge it, so I press the enlarge key. As you see, my Pip-Boy light comes on. If I tap the plus key, my Pip-Boy opens. The problem now, if I press, say, the star key and then back and then close, now when I try to drive, I'm having some issues. As you can see, it's kind of stuttery. I'm going to press the start again. Make sure my controls are working. Set up keys. Pad 8. As you can see, it uses those keys. So let's try moving forward with them. Can you see the dashboard? You see what's happening with the dashboard? It's busily wandering up and down. That is because of what happened while setting up the dashboard. And it's pretty terminal. My suggestion, if that happens, is reload the game before you got in the car. And so what I would recommend before you get in the car the first time is make sure the arrow keys, the plus, the minus, and the R key are not bound to anything that you need right now until you get that set up. Once you've got it set up, you should be okay. Now, I have my arrow keys set to the move left, right, forward, and backwards. That didn't seem to matter. It was only the plus and minus keys that I've got set to, well, the plus key actually is something I've got set to my Pip-Boy. I don't know which other functions could do this, but I do know opening the Pip-Boy did destroy that. So I would recommend the plus and minus key at the very least, rebind those for now. You can always change it at a later date. So I'm going to get in the car. Now I haven't done it, but I'm just going to avoid pressing the plus key. So I'm going to move the dashboard into position. I like it down here. And I'm going to shrink it a little. And I think that's fine. And then I'm going to press enter. And then back. And close for now. And now, there you go. I'm driving my car away without a problem. Once you're in the car, you can actually control quite a lot of things. For example, you can change the camera by pressing the key. And there are several different options, including top down. So you can actually drive like this. It will actually allow you to do pretty much everything you can do from any other camera angle. A camera angle very much below and back to normal. There is a free cam mode, and when you click the free cam mode, the dashboard disappears and you can now just look around with the mouse. And once again, you can still drive, but again, free cam. There is also a quick key delete by default to look behind you. So if you want to see what's following you, you can do so, but be warned, it can be a little difficult to drive. You might accidentally drive off the road, which I have done a number of times. If you want your followers to join you in the truck, you can. You press a button, the horn honks, and they climb in. Another key, and it tells them to get out. Now, you can get out pretty much any time. However, I will warn you, I wouldn't park it on a hill, because it will start rolling. Which is actually very cool. And don't worry if you want to travel at night. This thing actually comes with fully functioning lights, which is a very nice touch indeed. As you can see, it actually works really, really well. And as an added little touch, believe it or not, if you watch when I brake, the brake lights actually work, which is very cool. Now there is a settings menu and it defaults to the star key over the number pad when you are in the car. It only works when you are in the car, and it allows you to change quite a lot of settings, and I'll leave that up to you to discover. However, I will tell you, you can change the controls if you like, but there are some limitations. The way you do this, it's not immediately obvious, but you press a key and then mouse click on the option. If you don't do that, it will literally tell you what to do. So for example, if I press the W key and click this one, it changes now to W, and so you can set up WASD if that is your preferred method. However, let me just change that back. What I can tell you is you cannot change it to the arrow keys, and the reason for that is just the way he's decided to do the menu. Of course, menus like this, you activate using arrow keys as well, but as you can see, it always goes back to my mouse. If I take my mouse away, I can control with the arrows. Now, if I place over here and press the arrow key, and then try and click, nothing happens. And it's because the mouse interface, the menu interface is fighting you on this one. So I'm afraid you cannot set the standard arrow keys for the driving directions if that is your preference. In general, the settings menu gives you a lot of control over this, although I have to say I would prefer to see an MCM system instead, and of course that would remove the problem you have with the setup keys. You'd be able to choose any key that you wanted. In general, driving is actually remarkably easy. Once you get used to the keys and the way you drive, it's pretty self-explanatory. There are no real problems. The car itself is a little bumpy if you go over very bumpy roads, so you might want to use another mod that improves the roads if you want a smooth drive. But considering how bad the roads are, it actually drives pretty well. The physics on this mod are incredible. They really are, actually. This is a pretty amazing feat when you think about it. Now, if the starting truck that you find in Goodsprings is not exactly working for you, you can buy one of a variety of other vehicles at a car shop. The car shop is pretty easy to find, and it has a very interesting shopkeeper in it. One I believe many of you will recognise. I do not want to spoil the surprise for you. You can actually order custom vehicles as well with different colours, and there is even a race car and a racetrack. And if you enter the race car, you get a choice of different events. You can select one and you have a race through the desert and have to do it within a certain time. Now, in various places around the desert, you will find these little stations where you can take your car for repair and refuel, along with a few humorous little additions. In general, I was quite surprised at how much fun it was to actually just drive these cars. They drive really well. You can slide quite a bit. You can even jump if you get off some ramps. Try to avoid bumpy areas or you might get stuck for a little bit, as you can see. But they drive really well. Considering this was added to a game where there was no driving, it is pretty damned amazing. Oh, and do be careful. You can actually flip the car. It's not the end of the world. There is always the option to flip the car from the menu, which will do it for you. But it's a little embarrassing. There were a few glitchy moments. For example, I drove into Prim only to find my old pickup truck viciously attacking the local residents and even killing one of them. However, that was reasonably rare that I could put up with it. In the end, I was very impressed with this mod. It took a little messing around to get it working, but once you do, it is a lot of fun. And before we go, I just want to talk about uninstalling the mod. If you've decided to uninstall the mod after you've played with it for a while, there are a couple of things you need to do. First of all, save your game outside the car. If you've been playing with a while and you've made some saves, make sure you save outside the car. If you've just been trying the mod but you haven't saved, that's okay. You're going to load a save that never had the mod, that's fine. However, you still have to do one thing before you uninstall. You need to get in the car, you need to press start or whatever it is that opens up the menu, and you need to go to System menu and disable cars. When you click this, it's going to remove all of the things needed for the physics engine, and it will quit for you. So disable and quit. The game will then shut down. Then you can disable, well, in my case, the update and the main file, and that's it. The mod has been uninstalled. If I load my save now, everything should be fine. So there you have it. This is actually a very impressive mod. It is a lot of fun and it is well worth trying out. But that is it for this video. I hope it was helpful and I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to end with some screenshots that you guys have been posting, so a big thank you for that. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next New Vegas Mod Clinic or whichever video you decide to join me for. And until then, remember, as always, have fun.
Very far from wrong. Oh, Lily Bell.